Hey guys, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio, and today's exercise is progressing some thoracic flexion into some more bilateral patterns. So what that means basically is we're going to be looking at the squat today and where thoracic flexion is relevant versus when extension is relevant, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and how you can train that. So if that sounds like it might be useful for you, then give this a go. When you're squatting, we need to think about forces or weight in front of our feet and behind our feet, and that there's somewhat of a balance between those as we go down. And the better that balance is between them, then the deeper you'll go. If you hit a point where you can't go deeper, what you'll find is the reason you can't go deeper is typically because you feel like you're about to fall forward or fall backwards. Because our feet are so wide, we're not really going to fall sideways, although you might have some leans or deviations to the side. But it's about this nice load share, and I really like that idea, that visual of, they balance river stones, and it might look like there's a massive amount of weight over here on this side of the line, yet somehow they've managed to bring enough on this side so that there's a nice central axis and that thing doesn't topple over. And you got to think about it similarly in a squat. Now, one of the ways for us to shift weight backwards and forwards is through our thoracic spine. A lot of spinal extension is cued with maximal spinal, a lot of squats are cued with maximal spinal extension, so being completely extended through here. And what that's doing is pushing my rib cage forward, it's pushing mass forward, and then I'm getting that bar up on my back or on top of my scaps. Now, that's not a bad thing in the context of, say, powerlifting. It enables you to lift a heavier amount of weight through a rigid spine. The trouble is if you become very extension dominant, then you're going to lose some flexion capacity as well. Now, if this sounds like some sort of new stuff to you, and then you do this exercise and you're not really sure what's going on, jump back to our how to improve your body weight squat video, and it's an exercise where you're facing the wall, and the wall's a great teacher, and it'll teach you very quickly about where that balance point is for you, and how what's your capacity of staying upright. So when we progress from that, we get into free space. We need to start thinking about the thoracic spine and what role that might have. So we're not talking about the intricate details of specialization with squats, right? I'm not saying you should power lift or do heavy loads with this technique. We're talking about a body weight squat and how this might change some of your hip range. So just kind of go with the exercise, see if you can kind of pick up what I'm talking about, give it a go. Better sort of experienced in real time with yourself than just listening to the words and the rationale behind it. But essentially what I'm going to sort of demonstrate is that by changing my spinal position, I'm going to get less or more hip range and more depth. Okay, and you're just thinking about that sort of stone analogy with the scale of weight being somewhat even on both sides. Okay, so to start with, you just choose that width that's comfortable for you. I might go a little bit here and turn out slightly, okay? Now, I'm gonna get rid of this mat. All right, so if I squat with full spinal extension and I go down, my max range is about here. I feel very stable, I feel very secure, and I feel, quite comfortable. From this angle, max spinal extension, holding it, okay? That's my depth. If I throw in a thoracic kyphosis, and it's that sort of ribs tucked in cue, it's nice to have a medicine ball or some pillows to hug around. So I'm pulling that, and you can see how it makes me bend forward a little bit. Because I've now got weight going back, my spine's flexing, and I've got some weight through my spine going backwards, my lumbar spine's lordosis is probably going to be encouraged a little bit more, as well as my cervical spine. Essentially, hug the ball, stay nice and tall, and look forward. And let's see what happens to my hip range. And what I can do now is go much deeper. Now, some of this is going to come from some lumbar flexion being allowed, because I'm not encouraging max extension, but generally that's pretty good. If I take the ball away and I try and extend my upper back, see how I can't do that? I can't get taller. If I come a little bit taller, now I can extend through my upper back. So what it means is that by flexing into your thoracic spine and encouraging more extension in your lower spine, it's going to change length-tension relationships around your pelvis. This is going to change the position of that femur in the socket, and essentially it's going to enable you to get into a little more posterior tilt, which actually is not coupled so much with spinal flexion in this exercise, but more spinal extension. And what it means then is you get a little more space at the front of your hips, and you can squat a little bit deeper. So give this a go to try and train some of those patterns. Eventually you can choose. I can go into spinal extension, I can go down, this is very stable. I could go into a little bit of kyphosis, still be upright, looking ahead, and same thing, but now I can go much, much deeper. Not saying one's better or worse than the other, just some different ways to squat and explore your range and how that spine can change things. So give this a go, play around with it, and you might find that you enjoy just that extra little bit of range to your hips. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.